The dating evidence for this substantial building points to activity in the 3rd and 4th centuries, the same date as the stone walls, so it's likely to have played an administrative role over the late town. We've had some really fascinating archaeology from all over the site. We've got the Mancio, we've got the big high-status building that Stuart identified, we've got the building where the hoard originally came from, but we keep being drawn back to this trench for one very good reason. This wall. It's huge, isn't it, Mark? It's monumental.
We knew it was big, but to actually now see it exposed is incredible. I mean, you've got the front face there.
Just here?
Yeah. The rear face is here, and then we've got another big foundation beyond that, probably for a gatehouse. I mean, it's absolutely astonishing.
But when this gatehouse was at its apogee,
yeah,
what would it have looked like?
Well, let's go and stand up where we would have been in the middle of the gate. So we're roughly now standing in the middle of the road. You've got a gate that's at least 5 to 6 metres wide. Then you're going to have a great single arch coming up 4 to 5 metres high. The wall itself is going to be 6 to 8 metres high. We've got the block behind us telling us there's a kind of tower structure, so there's probably another storey above that. It's very impressive.
When you first pick one of these things up, it seems pretty light, but the more you hold it, the more you can feel its weight in your biceps and, for me, in the small of my back. And yet you guys have been going up and down this field non-stop for 3 days.
Yeah, well, you've just walked about 20 metres.
Yeah.
If you kept going for another 55 kilometres in total, you'd have walked what the team have walked in the past 3 days. I mean, they've collected just short of 500,000 data points and surveyed 27 acres of ground. I mean, it's the biggest survey we've ever done on Time Team. And the result has been an entire Roman town. Is there anything about it that surprised you or you didn't expect? There's just so much going on, it's unbelievable. You know, there's the enclosure ditches, the defences, the trackways, the fields, the paddocks, the buildings, a complete plan. And it's coming right through the field, and we've not actually found a limit to the archaeology. It's quite brilliant. You've actually got 400 years of history on one piece of paper.
So our findings suggest that Cannetio began in the 1st century as the Roman army drove a road west. A small settlement grew around a major crossroads, and early in the 2nd century, a mancio developed to cater to passing travellers. Attempts to formalise the town resulted in a gridded street plan, but all that was done away with in the 4th century when town planners slapped down huge walls and cleared the interior, administering the town from the big villa in the corner. All a far cry from the field today. Phil, why do you reckon Cannetio eventually disappeared under the ground, whereas other Roman towns like Cirencester survived?
Well, the way I see it, Tony, probably in the early Romano-British period, you had a perfectly peaceable, prosperous little community thriving here. Everybody going about their local business, minding their own business and getting on perfectly well. And then in the later Roman period, you have the might of bureaucratic, administrative Rome coming here and building this whacking great wall, bringing in their taxation, their administration and all those nasty things. And I reckon that killed the local community. They cluttered off. And then, of course, when the Romans went away, well, the locals didn't want to come back.
As she runs out of time, Helen's Roman walls remain a mystery. She thinks she's got a Romanised roundhouse, but the date remains elusive. Bridge, though, has found an even more impressive building.
Hi, Bridge, what's going... What on earth is that?
Are you impressed? I mean, it looks as though we've got massive foundations.
God, it does, doesn't it? I mean, that's clearly been carefully laid. And...
Yeah, and look, we've got a construction cut running around that side, and it's curving up in that direction through there. Then we've got good levels on all of these.
Yeah, and this pit's cut through the top of it.
Yeah, and actually what's really nice about it is you can see where they've actually put the pit in, they've been digging away, and then gone bang against these and realised, oh, below that, why move them out the way and just win over the top?
Yes, it looks like a massive footing.
Yeah.
Have you had any material from around it or within it?
All of this here in front of you
Oh,
is from
right.
around this foundation.
Let's have a look. You've got some decorated salient. Well, that looks to me as if that ought to date to about 60 to 80 AD.
Well, that's good. That's earlier than what we were having before.
Yeah, it is. And, I mean, looking at this looks like good sort of late Iron Age bead rim, but it's also appearing with the sort of earliest Romanised forms as well. So we're definitely looking, I think, at that period of about 60 to 80.
So this really is filling the gap in time that we've had for structures and occupation on the site.
It is indeed.
Can you imagine what the size of this building must have been like?
It's truly astonishing and unusual in any context in Roman Britain, I'd say, to see foundations on this scale in the countryside this early.
In the last minutes of the day, Bridge has revealed what we've been looking for. A stone roundhouse, a Romanised building constructed by Brits within a few decades of the Romans' arrival. Over the last 3 days, you've got more and more excited about this site, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I think it's been a fantastic site.
Why?
Well, it's that junction between prehistory and the Roman period, and we're right on it here. I think we're right on it, more or less, where we're standing actually.
In the 3 days, we've found the site where Romanisation first took hold at Blacklands. We've uncovered 3 roundhouses, and while Helen's remains undated, the heart of the story is in Phil's high-status Iron Age one and Bridges' massive stone one from those critical years after the Romans arrived. And our finds paint a picture of the people at Blacklands who adopted Roman ways so quickly. Pottery, revealing trade with the continent, rare coins, belonging to the powerful and wealthy. Pretty good few days.
Absolutely.
This site promised so much and it delivered even more. Not only did we extend the Roman life of this place by about 200 years, not only did we get right into the heart of an Iron Age roundhouse, but we got very close to the people who were living here at that extraordinary moment in time when the Romans arrived here in Somerset.
Well, it's the great ideal that it's the equivalent of Camelot in 7th century Kent. As a great building that is the focus for all that is good and noble. It's a place of identity and solidarity. If you were a football supporter, it would be your great stadium where the great action, the great dramas took place.
I can see that its dimensions are really grand, but would it have been the colour of a garden fence?
Very interesting possibility is that they would have had some gilt paint. It parallels a description we have of the Temple of Old Uppsala, which could be seen shining, and there was something described as a golden chain around its roof that shone from miles around.
So there could be some kind of decorative frieze.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what I'd do if I had one of those. By the end of the day, no more finds or structures have been found in the enclosure. So yet again, Time Team has failed to find an Anglo-Saxon palace. But we have found out something about Anglo-Saxon Eastry. In the 7th century, a community would have thrived here in Eastry. Near a Roman road and the coast, it would have been an important and powerful centre for East Kent. High-status finds on Highborough Hill led us to think the palace was there. We now think it was an Anglo-Saxon ritual centre, where valuable offerings were made. Through Stuart's investigations, we've revealed that the hill was on a network of ancient roads, linking it with an Anglo-Saxon centre at Eastry village. We now believe that it was somewhere in the village that the palace was once built, inside a royal enclosure with Eastry Court, the church and recreation ground at its heart. But there are still questions our landowners want answers to.
Graham was playing on that hill when he was a little boy. What can we tell him about it? Given how emotional these 3 days have been for you and that hill.
Well, it's a mystery wrapped in an enigma, that hill. It is producing the most stunning objects which look like they must have come out of graves. We've carefully excavated the areas around them and there aren't any graves. I do not understand it.
So Helen, what would be your best guess as to what was going on up there?
Well, I think actually Mick's idea about it being a cult centre devoted to Woden might well be the best hypothesis we've got, which we just need to then go out and test in other places because we really don't know anything about cult centres. So they produce this kind of range of wonderful metalwork. And I think really the answer might be that next time you go up on the hill, you just offer up a little prayer to Woden. Good harvest for you, a few answers for us.
What about the village? That's what David's interested in.
Well, I think we know an awful lot more about it now. And we've got this rectangular enclosure in the middle. Inside that is your house and the church. So I'm sure that's the centre of the Saxon palace complex.
If there's one thing you would like to know from the work that we've done, what would it be?
I'd really like to know if this is the site of the original Saxon palace and where the murder was done.
I think almost certainly it's either under your house or it's just immediately to the east of here. But we won't actually know unless you take your house down and we can have a look underneath it.
I'll call you.
OK.
Hello, my name's John Gator. Time Team is fan-funded by Patreon. This vital support helps us to make new episodes. Joining Patreon gives you access to exclusive interviews, 3D models and masterclasses, plus lots more.